happy to be here today. Certain things that you're put on this world to do. Well, I'm put on this world to go live, to talk football, and I'm doing it. I feel great. Wow. I have an energy drink here, but trust me, I don't need it. I really don't need it. I don't know why I have it, but I'm here. I'm jacked up. I'm doing my favorite thing. I'm talking football. So right before I get into my very first mock draft, I kind of want to go over a few things. Every Wednesday, I'm going to have a mock draft. This time I'm live. Sometimes I'll be releasing a video. It kind of depends. What happened was I intended on just releasing a video. I started working on it, and it was just too much. I was going to try to cut down and release the first 12 picks today. I thought that was kind of weak, so I decided instead of just releasing 1 through 12, I was going to go live to a full mock draft. Now, I'm working with Pro Football Sports Network. They have, I got a link in the description below. They have a phenomenal mock draft. Corey, yes, I'm live, 100% live, mock draft. A matter of fact, with Arizona picking third, I'd love to get your opinion because I have a very interesting take. Actually, in the video I started on, I had an interesting trade with the Raiders, with Cardinals Raiders, and it was who says no. When if the Raiders got 3 number ones in Marvin Harrison Jr. from the Cardinals, that was the trade. Who would say no? My guess is the Cardinals would say no. But that was something. We're taking Moaga. That's interesting. I'm going to leave that comment up there. So I'm working with Pro Football Sports Network. They have a fantastic mock draft simulator. It's free. Here's the drill. It comes with some ads, and you need not to click off. They pop up. It's free. What do you want? However, they're coming out with something for content creators. I got Jesus is King. Oh, wow. We hang up on the I want to leave this one up here. This is interesting. So I went ahead and hit them up. They're coming out with a no ads version for content creators, and they're going to send me a link, but they're still in the developmental stage. It may be a week or two down the line before they have it. So today I'm doing something I hate doing, and I'm using PFF. Now, I'm going to bring this up here real fast. And there we go. Actually, I'm going to use this format right here. So you're going to look at this, and you're going to say, this is great. And this is a free tool as well. Here's the drill. You can only use this once every 24 hours. Then it's locked up and you have to subscribe, and it's like $24.95 a month, or you can get the yearly deal, which I don't want to recommend to anybody. Where Pro Football Sports Network, you can do hundreds of free mock drafts. And I might actually bring that up and just deal with the ads popping up, but I thought I'd use this today, and I'm going to go through my first round mock draft. I got some curveballs going. I got something interesting for Arizona, but let's just go here. I'm going to start the draft. Fernando Mendoza. Again, every mock draft I do, every single mock draft I do, I'm going to go over here. Okay, I won't do it because PFF. Okay, there it is. Okay. So every mock draft I do, Mendoza is going to be the pick at 1. But if I'm the Raiders, I would shop this pick with the Jets and with the Cardinals and see if you can get a bidding war, because Geno Smith counts. If you cut him, he's $18.5 million at dead cap space this year. Next year, he's nothing. And here's the deal. Here's the drill with Mendoza. How good would he be in next year's draft class? 2 years ago, he'd be quarterback 4 or 5. I like Mendoza better than I like Cam Ward, but this isn't. I mean, this is not your Joe Burrow. This isn't your Caleb Williams. This isn't even Drake May. I mean, This is not, and the Raiders are so far away. I would consider a trade. I would consider a trade. Jets taking the best defensive player, Downs or Bain. That's interesting. That's what most people have. That's what most people have. I do not. The Jets' leading receiver last year had 360 some yards receiving. The Jets had the 32nd ranked passing attack. They were the only team not to have 3,000 passing yards. They were 400 yards worse than the Cleveland Browns. Now, of course, the Browns had Pro Bowl quarterback Shedeur Sanders. So what did, let's see, how did I do this? Okay, here we go. So I actually am going a curveball here. I'm the only person that has this. I am taking Carnell Tate. And the reason why I'm drafting Carnell Tate is that jobs are on the line across the board for the Jets. You need to improve. Yeah, I agree, Corey, you're spitting facts here. Raiders should trade down, but they won't. No one's coming up to one. I agree with you. The Jets, here's the deal. If I was the Raiders, they should trade down. You're speaking facts here. And Jets take best defensive player, Downs or Bain. I wouldn't have a problem with them taking Downs, but I think it's just way, way, way too soon to take a safety. I also really like Ruben Bain. The thing is, though, the one thing the Jets do have is two really good defensive ends, but they're stuck at receiver. I love Carnell Tate. I think that worst case scenario, he's going to have 800 yards, about 5 to 8 touchdowns. Best case scenario, 12 to 1,500 yards, double-digit touchdowns, Pro Bowl receiver. And I think you're getting a Pro Bowl receiver. The Jets' passing attack is so god-awful. You have got to take a receiver, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Corey is right. I actually do have the Cardinals taking Malga, but I want to say this. If I'm the Cardinals, I would take either Reese, Bailey, or Bain. And the reason why is that the Cardinals had 30 sacks last year. Look, you're in a division with Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and Matthew Stafford, and you got 30 sacks last year. You have Josh Sweat, who had 12 and a half. Now, Walter Nolan, not everybody liked that pick at 17, but here's the thing with Walter Nolan, nobody said he wasn't talented. So you have a super talented defensive tackle. You got a defensive end on one side that's got 12 and a half sacks. You have another first-round pick in Darius Robinson. I would build the defensive line from hell first, and then I would get everything else sorted out. But I would build the defensive line from hell. Then I would go in the second round, and I'd fix the offensive line. But I think the Cardinals are going to take Maaga. And, oh, my God, look at this. The real question is, will you have the talent on the draft show, and how many rounds are we doing? Gooch, we're going to do day one, and if you will bless me and come on when I do the draft, then of course you are coming on. For those of you that don't know, the great one, the talent, the B in the back talk, brothers, Gooch has joined me for the last couple of drafts. He's the great one. I'm just a good-looking one. I got the great hair. Gooch has the talent, and hopefully Gooch will bless me and join me draft day. Absolutely, Gooch. You know you're going to come on. I've also talked to Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports. There is a possibility he might also join us for draft day. I don't know that yet, though. But I have talked to Keaton, and he wants to do a mock draft together. So Downs is the best player in the class, and the only one kind of close is a running back. So this is interesting that Corey brings this up, because I've heard this from a lot of people. There's two blue chip prospects in this draft: Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love. And when I say blue chip prospect, I'm talking about Pro Bowl player day one. And a lot of people feel that's Downs. Now, a lot of people thought the same thing about Malachi Starks last year, who's a very similar prospect. And he went, I think it was 27 to Baltimore. It may have been 26. But that was an issue with him not having that good of a combine. He may have gone higher, but Where Downs go in this draft is going to be the big question. How he does at the combine is also going to be a big question because I don't think he's going to test out particularly well. I don't think he's going to be like a 4.3 guy. I don't think he's going to have a 40-inch vertical. I think he's going to be okay. He may not even participate. So where Downs is going to be really interesting. Where Jeremiah Love goes is going to be really interesting. Corey also comments, sure, we only had 30 sacks of the defense, but we almost gave up double that among the O-line. Yeah, I agree. Your offensive line needs help. You could address that in free agency. You could also get in the second round, you can get a starting right tackle as well. This is what I think Arizona's going to do is I think they're going to go with my Gus. We agree there. I just think they should go defense. Now, with the Tennessee Titans, David Bailey's to pick, and this is just an absolute no-brainer here. Let me see. I've never done this before, to be honest with you. Okay. All right, so here's how it goes so far. David Bailey's a no-brainer for that wide 9 defense that Robert Saleh runs. David Bailey, it's going to fit like a hand in the glove. Of all the players in the draft, I think Bailey's the only one who's going to come into the NFL and be a double-digit sack guy right away. I think right away he's going to be a double-digit sack guy. I think he's going to be really good. Probably not going to be the best against the run, but I think in this solid defense, he's going to fit like a hand in the glove. And I really firmly believe that if Bailey's available, there's no way he gets past Tennessee at 4. No possible way. This is a bad offensive line class, and the competent lineman on the board will go before we pick again in the top of the second. I actually disagree with that. I cannot pronounce his name, the kid from Nigeria who was lighting up the Senior Bowl. I've seen a lot of 2-round mock drafts where he's going to go to Arizona. I actually wouldn't mind if he went to Kansas City in the second round. This kid's going to be a star, but I think he needs a redshirt year. I would not want to draft him and start him. There's another guy out of Texas A&M, a former tight end, that I did a mock draft with the Chiefs. He's going to go in the third round. He's got more upside than anybody in the draft, and he could go anywhere between rounds 2 and 4. I can't think of his name. Yeah, the Arizona State tackles who I'm thinking of. Yeah. And there's a chance he goes in round 1. Arizona could get him in round 2, be a day 1 starter, and he'll struggle at times. But this is a guy that could potentially be like I'm not saying going to the Pro Bowl is the same thing has been, but you know what I'm talking about when I say Pro Bowl caliber player, the Arizona State tackle. You know what? Even if I had his name, I wouldn't know how to pronounce it anyway, but me and you both know who you're talking about. This is a guy's probably going to be a 6 to 10 point or 6 to 10 Pro Bowl type of guy. With that scene, yeah, he could. I actually think he'll get out of round 1. Spoiler alert, I don't have him going round 1 in this draft. So, one thing I want to point out here, and I kind of want your opinion of this, Gooch, if you're still there. I think the way this mock draft goes, I would not be at all surprised to see a 9-5 trade. I would not be at all surprised if Kansas City decides that they want to jump up and maybe get one of these defensive ends. But what Arizona or what New York's going to do here, I got New York going. And I think they do want to trade down, but I got them going Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah. And I think that what they're going to do is they're going to address right tackle at pick number 5. In all fairness, I do think New York's going to be interested in trading down. However, if they have to stick and pick, I think they're going to address offensive line first. They could go receiver. They're not going to go defensive end because they have a solid defensive line. They could go receiver. I don't have it, but that's definitely a possibility. Here with Cleveland at 6 is I have a major curveball, and I saw somebody else do it, but there hasn't been too many. I'm going to go Mekhi Lemon here, and I just think Cleveland is going to go receiver. A lot of people have them going offensive line, but the way my mock draft goes, 2 offensive linemen are already off the board. You're not going to go ahead and go another offensive lineman. I also think that they need to go receiver. Keep in mind, Jerry Jeudy's on the last year of his contract. He's the only receiver, and they actually had a really good contract. Is that they had a good contract with him. He's underpaid for a wide receiver number 1. But if he has a good season, he's probably going to price himself outside of what Cleveland can do. So I like Lemon here because even if Jerry Jeudy walks in free agency, it doesn't really matter because you got Mekhi Lemon right there. And by the way, you picking in at 24 here. Got some great comments in here. Thank you so much here. Kansas City could sit at 9, take Love, give Mahomes a run game he's never had, make the difference rest of the league. But that's something that's been a very popular mock. I think out of all the mocks, I'd say over 60% of them have had Jeremiah Love going to Kansas City. Ryan Gooch says, problem is the Chiefs don't have enough draft capital to move up. Only 6 picks if each doesn't like spending those, especially the futures. You would have to give up +8. Okay, so I should have explained what it would be is that you would trade 9 and next year's number 1. And the reason why New York would want that is let me do this here. This is the game within the game. All right. Let me go back here. Okay. You want to take Spencer Fano at 5. The only team that's taken a tackle between 5 and 9 is Cleveland. So if you know Cleveland's taking a receiver, what you want to do here, because Washington and the Saints are definitely not taking a tackle, you want to call your old buddy Andy Reid and you want to say, hey, would you give up next year's number 1? The reason why you want next year's number 1, even if it's a low first round pick, is that you're not sold on Jackson Dart. Almost forgot his name. You're not sold on Jackson Dart. I don't think the Giants organization is sold on Jackson Dart, to be honest with you. Next year's draft is a lot better. You want to position yourself in a way, maybe you can get Arch Manning. Maybe you can get Arch Manning if you got that extra number 1. That's why you would do it. Why would Kansas City do it? Because they really don't need that number 1, but maybe they can get a game changer at 5. I think it's interesting. I'm going to do a trade. If I do a mock draft with trades, I am going to do that 9-5 trade. I actually am going to do it. I think Kansas City would have no problem giving up a first-round pick next year. They've done it before. They did it before for somebody who you call Concrete Charlie. Oh, my God, Trey, what is up? Hey, everyone. Trey, what is up, brother? Man, I hope you can stay till the Eagles pick. I definitely want to, because I have an interesting take on what the Eagles are going to do. I think it's a smart take, to be honest with you, bragging about myself. But, yeah, I think it's a good take. Man, I'm glad you're good, brother. I'm glad you're good. All right, so let's go back here. Let me see here. We'll go 7. Washington Commanders, I got taken Arvell Reese. This is – a lot of people have Arvell Reese, Micah Parsons comparisons. They're not really the same guy. I think Arvell Reese is more built to be a defensive end. When Micah Parsons came out, he was a middle linebacker, and Dallas actually tried him at middle linebacker, and then Dan Quinn's like, just get on the defensive end. So Arvell Reese, I don't think he's going to go to the Jets at 2 because they already got 2 defensive ends. And then I heard a lot of people say he's going to play linebacker. Says who? You're going to draft an off-ball linebacker at 2? I don't see that. So I think Arvell Reese is going to kind of slide in the draft here. If Love is the pick, you have to jump the Saints because Kamara's 31. They need new blood. If they traded and they don't get a blue chip or game changer, the Barbarians will be at the gate. You're 100% correct. They absolutely are sold on Dart. Besides, neither team would be bad enough to be in range of Manning unless the list of having 2 number 1s. I 100% disagree with you. They're not sold on Dart, and I'll tell you why. The coach that basically drafted him is gone. That's a new regime, and he had multiple concussions. Red Sea says Corey Reese is an off-ball linebacker. A lot of his pass protection is off the line, and see. That's why I think he's going to drop to 7, but I think Dan Quinn's going to use him as a pure defensive end. I think he's a defensive end in the NFL. He's an off-ball linebacker in college. And that's why I don't think he's going to go 2. I think he's going to go 7. He's going to play defensive end. He's 6'4", about 250. He's going to play defensive end. He's going to fill out. He's going to play defensive end in the NFL. That's my opinion. I like Dart. He's great, although he keeps getting concussions. Bingo. You have concussion issues. He's a great runner. I don't think the Giants are sold on him, and that's why I can see a 5-9 trade, and I think that you can get some number ones because, look, there's going to be some really good quarterbacks in next year's draft. Arch Manning would go number one in this year's draft, hands down. So if you're a team like the Giants, keep in mind, Eli Manning's, got some pull with that organization. So that's kind of what I see. You already called it, Gooch. The Saints will take Jeremiah Love here. So he'll be about 250 at the combine. He probably played at 240. He'll be 250 at the combine because he's going to play defensive end in the NFL. And the reason why I say he's going to play defensive end in the NFL is he's 6'4", he's got a lot of length. It's not that hard to go from 240 to 250, and defensive ends make over double to what an off-ball linebacker makes. So he'll be about 250. He might be 240. He probably played at 240, but he'll be around 250, and then he might even be 260 during training camp. Start training camp anyway. Kansas City Chiefs are going to take Ruben Bain Jr. I've been mocking Ruben Bain to Kansas City for a while. If Bain falls to 9, I think that will be the pick. I really think the Chiefs want to go defensive end in this draft. For those of you that don't know, a couple of years ago, the Chiefs had the 32nd pick while they're in Kansas City. And I was like, man, they really want to trade down. And this is one of the few times I think the owner came in and said, hey, listen, the draft's in Kansas City. We're hosting it. We're not going to trade out of the first round. They took a local kid. He's played in like 12 snaps. It's the definition of bust. It's probably one of the 3 to 4 worst draft picks in Kansas City Chiefs history, and he was a defensive end. Now, if the plan is to have him play this year, you could go offensive line, potentially. You could also go wide receiver, but I think the Chiefs really like Ruben Bain. I don't agree with PFF. I don't think he's the second best player. I think the arm length is going to bother some teams. I think Kansas City may even have some reservations, but Ruben Bain's not the second best player in this draft, but that's how they go per PFF. And of course, if you know anything about me, I do not care for PFF. I should do a video of why I don't like PFF, but you know what? I'm going to have another sip of an energy drink, even though, trust me, I don't need it. Bengals at 10 is where my draft goes nuts. But hear me out. We're going to scroll down quite a bit and go Caden Proctor. They call him a tackle, but he's going to play offensive line in Cincinnati. So here's the drill. He's going to be a guard year one. Your number one issue for the Cincinnati Bengals should be and needs to be protecting Burrow. Okay? You got to protect Burrow. Caden Proctor is going to play guard year one. Orlando Brown Jr., who wanted too much money and forced a trade out of Baltimore to Kansas City, forced himself out of Kansas City because he wanted too much money. And I was kind of mad about the Chiefs because when the Chiefs traded for him, he goes, I want to be a top 5 paid left tackle. The Chiefs were like, well, we'll talk you away from that. And they weren't able to do it. So they went ahead and let him walk in free agency. Got a lot less from Cincinnati than he would have probably got with Kansas City, because at Kansas City, that free agent period gave Jawan Taylor significantly more than what Orlando Brown got. I think Orlando Brown, if he had to do it all over again, he would have took the same deal that Jawan Taylor had and stayed in Kansas City. And I think that would have been better for everybody. But keep in mind, it is what it is. But after his contract is up, he is going to leave. He's not going to take another hometown discount. He's going to leave. And I think there is going to be a team that's going to pay him quite a bit, but it may not be in Kansas City. He wants to be a left tackle, not a right tackle. I don't think it matters that much in today's game. Left and right tackles are becoming very similar as far as pay. But I think what the plan is that Caden Proctor play guard year one. He'll replace Orlando Brown year two. Now, if Orlando Brown decides to come around, he stays, well, then you got either a swing tackle or you got a massive guard. But here's the deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. They like players from big schools, specifically the SEC. They like massive players. They like players with size. And they like athletic potential. There's nobody with bigger upside than Caden Proctor. Now, a lot of people say the Bengals had such a terrible defense, fix the defense. Well, they had 3 rookies, and they had Miles Murphy, kid out of Clemson, and it was only his first year starting. So, you had almost 4 rookies just on the front 7 by itself. You can get some secondary players later on. I think the Bengals make this move here because they absolutely have to protect Joe Burrow. Now, the other move could be is that I firmly believe the Bengals could trade down, but it would not surprise me if they decide to go Vega Alane, and I'm butchering that name. They could go, but I don't think they're going to take him at 10. I think they would make a slight trade down, but it wouldn't surprise me if they go ahead and do this. The Miami Dolphins here, keep in mind Jeff Hafley, he's taking over for the Miami Dolphins. You have a defensive coach there, not an offensive coach. So I'm leaning defense. I got a feeling I take Mansour Delane. He needs to have a good combine. Gerald McCoy could go number 1. For those of you that don't know, he missed all of last year due to an injury. I think that's going to hurt his draft stock. Trey, I agree with you. I honestly don't know, but I know they traded their number 1 corner last year to Pittsburgh, so I'm thinking Mansour Delane right here would be the pick here. Dallas at 12, I got a little bit of a curveball here. I've got a feeling they're going to fall in love with this kid, Caden McDonald, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. And the reason why I like McDonald's is this is a guy who's 325. Look at the division you're in. You got Philly. They're a run-first team. You got the Giants. They're now going to be a run-first team. Dan Quinn, he likes to run the ball. Get McDonald. He's about 325, but he does have pass rush ability. Trust me. During the combine, McDonald's going to impress. Another thing I like about Ohio State is, remember, they had just drew a blank, the former Patriots defensive coordinator, and I'm just drawing a complete whiff on the guy. But I brain freeze. For those of you who are new to this channel, I'm bad with names. That's why you call your girlfriend baby. That's just some good life advice I went ahead and gave you. Call your girlfriend baby. Do not call her by the wrong name. And for the life of me, I cannot remember who the Lions former head coach who's now in Ohio State as their defensive coordinator, but they ran an NFL. Matt Patricia, thank you, Corey. Matt Patricia. So they run an NFL defense. They run an NFL scheme-ish. McDonald's also going to impress at the combine. I think he's going to come in at 320-something. I think he's going to crack 5.0. I think he's going to have good vertical. I think that they're absolutely going to love this guy. Thank you, Corey, by the way. This is driving me nuts. But I'm bad with names. Again, here's my life hack for today. Always call your girl baby. Always call your girl baby. Los Angeles Rams. Now, when everything's said and done, the Rams are not going to pick 13th. I firmly believe they're going to trade this either for a player or they're going to trade down and stockpile picks. But they're going to take Caleb Downs here. Now, Rams are interesting. I think, yeah, exactly. Their offensive lineman just, I think he's just starting right tackle, just announced retirement. But I think here, they're not going to pick 13, okay? I'm going to say this right now. They're not going to pick 13. But I'm going to go with Caleb Downs here. Now, here's the issue with Caleb Downs is that Kitchens, their starting safety, is a free agent. All right. So Jesus, yeah, Yeah, I just downed a rock star. I'm almost. Trust me, I don't need it. I don't need it. By the way, Jesus is King 1188. So Caleb Downs, as Corey said, there's two blue chip prospects in this draft. You got Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs. The Rams get one. Now keep in mind their starting safety is a free agent. If he resigns during the free agent period, then forget that. I'm going to go somewhere else. Maybe Gerald McCoy, maybe even Sonny Styles. I don't know. The Ravens, however, I think could consider Sonny Styles, but I think they like their linebackers. A couple years ago, they drafted Trenton Simpson in the third round out of Clemson. I actually thought he was a first-round talent. They really like him. They also got him with the former Georgia, former Chicago Bear, number 58. Now he's 0, and another brain freeze. But anyway, they're happy at linebacker. I'm going to go Jordan Tyson here. And Corey Red Sea says, my 4 top players in this class, Downs, Love, Mago, Bain. Is it in that order? Or is it just those top 4? By the way, I like all 4 of those players. All 4 of those players are great. Let me go back to the full draft here, kind of show you what's going on here. In that order. Yeah, these are 4 really, really good players. Let's say you're right here. All right, let's say you're right. Then Kansas City is in really, really good shape. And the Rams, arguably the second best team in football, get a blue chip player. They get the best player in the draft at 13. That would be great. Yeah, and this would be great. And by the way, I would really be shocked if Arizona didn't take Maoga at 3. I would really be shocked. I would go defense personally, but yeah, I would take Maoga, plug and play. When we go through free agency, I want to see what they do. I don't think they keep Beachum. I know you don't like them that much, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, I fully expect Maoga. I feel almost confident. I might actually put some money on that. I still don't understand why the Buccaneers kept Bowles, because he is not a good head coach. I don't understand either. I really thought the only coach worse than Bowles is Aaron Glenn. I was 100% convinced Aaron Glenn was going to get fired. I think Bowles is an A+ defensive coordinator. I think if he got fired, he would have got hired on as a defensive coordinator and probably would have made like $4 to $5 million a year. As a defensive coordinator. I think Flores got something like 6, but I mean, who wouldn't hire Bowles as a defensive coordinator? But no, he's not a good head coach. You can't start off 6-2 and finish 8-9. Remember Baker. They had some injuries on the offensive line. Baker was playing almost a Pro Bowl caliber level here. For a while, there was some talk about Baker being MVP. I know they had some injuries, but yeah. Yeah, and I think Maoga would be pretty good. I'm not sure. I said the same thing about Penei Sewell. I say the same thing about a lot of tackles, but I'm not sure if Maoga would be better on the inside. And I say this way too much, but I'm not sure he wouldn't be better on the inside. But I think he would be a very good right tackle. And this is a good edge rusher draft. This is a very good edge rusher draft. You can get a really good edge rusher at 36. You have enough picks also. You could trade back into the first round and get somebody, but you can also get a very, very good edge rusher at 36. And Trey, you're preaching to the choir here. But Tampa Bay, they take Sonny Styles. To me, that's kind of a no-brainer. Sonny Styles is available. He's going to be the pick. You put him next to the other Tampa Bay line. All right, this has literally been the 5th time I forgot a player's name. I can't forget because this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer one day for Tampa Bay. I can't believe I forgot his name. Levante David. I am so sorry. So listen, you got Levante David, okay? Future Hall of Famer. When they won the Super Bowl, Levante David and Devin Bush, thank you, Corey. just wreaked havoc. Sonny Styles, I think seriously, 10 years from now, Sonny Styles may be the best player in this draft. I think he's that good. The Jets here at 16. I got kind of a curveball here. This is a guy during the Senior Bowl has been playing lights out. Lee Hunter, defensive tackle, and Devin White. Didn't I say Devin? I said Devin Bush. I'm sorry. It was Devin White. By the way, he had like 173 tackles with the Raiders. Good or bad? I mean, I think he led the NFL in tackles this year. I could be wrong about that. But, yeah, that year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, Devin White played out of his mind. Had like 9.5 sacks, 100 and some tackles. And then when Todd Bowles took over, he just – I don't know what the issue is, but Devin White bounced around to a couple of teams. The rumor is that he just started freelancing and just did whatever he wanted. Some people say he played well. Some people say he didn't, but he did have like 170. I think it was 173 tackles last year for the Raiders. But when Levante David and Devin White were together for that Super Bowl season, they played really, really, really good. Really, really, really good. With the Detroit Lions, I really, really, really want to go Kendrick Falk here because I got a feeling that's kind of a Dan Campbell guy. I really, really want to do that, but instead I'm going to go with Vega Alane, a guard out of Clemson, and I just want to say something here about Lee Hunter. This is a guy that at the Senior Bowl, his stock's just been going way up. I would not even be surprised if Dallas at 12 may want to take Hunter over McDonald. I just think McDonald's stock's just going to skyrocket because I think he's going to ace the combine. And also like the fact that he played in more of an NFL-type system than Lee Hunter did. So that's the only reason why I got him rated higher. But I think Lee Hunter, now PFF has him rated like 31. That's not accurate, but there's a lot of things that PFF is doing that I don't agree with. And Detroit at 17, they're always a team that I can never get right. I really like Alane here. I really like him a lot. I also like Falk, the defensive end out of Albany, bigger dude, not really a great pass rusher, but in the NFC North, you got the Packers, they like to run the ball. You like the Bears, they like to run the ball. Minnesota's kind of a work in progress, which I have a crazy pick here for Minnesota. I'm gonna level with you. It's funny, I just saw a mock draft the other day that had Minnesota taking the same guy that I'm taking, and very, very few people have this guy even going in the first round. That's Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo. And I really like this kid. And I know a lot of people are saying, what? You're taking a safety from Toledo going to Minnesota? Here's the deal. Even if Harrison Smith comes back, which I don't think he will, but even if he does, I still think Minnesota makes this pick. This is a big dude who plays free safety, strong safety. Flores is going to love this guy because he's going to line up everywhere. And I seriously would not be surprised. By the way, like I'm not disagreeing with Corey at all here. I would not be surprised if Emmanuel McNeil-Warren ends up being the best safety in this class. I would not be surprised. I know it sounds odd, but I think J.J. McCarthy was not the best Vikings quarterback. No, you're not wrong. So one of the things is that if you've noticed, I had the Jets at 16 passing on Simpson. I'm not going to do any trades, but I'll talk about this. This is not a bad year to hit free agency and get a quarterback, okay? Geno Smith's going to be available. I'm not a Geno Smith guy. Kirk Cousins is going to be available, right? You also got you're going to have Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's going to get cut or traded for a bag of chips. All right. Tua could be available. All right. Then you also got some other backups, and there's rumors that Lamar Jackson's on the trading block. I don't believe that. Russell Wilson could be available. Aaron Rodgers could be available. There's some free agent quarterbacks available that can start and play pretty well. That can play pretty well. So yeah, traded to the Jets. Seriously, I would not be surprised if Kyler Murray ends up being in New York. Would not be surprised at all. I actually think Cousins or Rodgers will end up in Minnesota. That's why I don't have Simpson as the pick. I think Minnesota will have a veteran quarterback, but besides, besides number 11, Carson Wentz. Besides Carson Wentz, so all right. From now on, I'm not going to forget any more names. That's a lie. Okay, so Carolina at 19. I got them taking Cassius Howe. He's not a big guy. For those of you that don't know, I want to rant on this just a little bit. I want to rant on Cassius Howe just a little bit during the Carolina Panthers. Carolina has Derek Brown's a defensive tackle. He didn't go to the Pro Bowl this year. He should have. He's one of the top 3, maybe 5 defensive tackles. Look at my shirt. I'm a Chiefs fan. Derek Brown today is better than Chris Jones. Chris Jones is going to wear a gold jacket someday. Derek Brown is a top 3 defensive tackle, but he's not pass rusher. So he doesn't get a lot of sacks, so people think he's not that good of a player. He's one of the 3 best defensive tackles in football. You get a smaller guy that can get after the quarterback, Carolina's front 7 could be elite. Not going to forget any more names. Speaking of Vikings, are going to be their GMs. So I don't have any of the names, but I've heard some different things. I've heard that they're trying to cherry pick from the Chiefs staff, but as of right now, nobody's been interviewed from Kansas City anyway. The timing is terrible because the general manager was down in Mobile. He was scouting the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine game. So getting a new general manager at this stage is tough. If I am Minnesota, this is what I would do. I would promote from within on an interim basis only. See how he does, and then I'd be shopping around next year. But I have no idea. Back with Dallas. Now, a lot of people are going to say Jermon McCoy is going to be the pick, but one thing that Dallas had was a lot of problems with defensive backs getting injured. So I'm going to go with a different defensive back. By the way, I want to go Avon Terrell, but I'm going to go to a different one here. And wow, he is really far down here. And that's kind of this is why PFS is bad. Colton Hood. Now you're going to say, why Colton Hood? Colton Hood played at the University of Colorado under Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders still has a really good relationship with Jerry Jones. Deion Sanders likes Colton Hood. I think he's going to give him a good recommendation. Colton Hood's also going to have a really, really, really good combine. Colton Hood, I know he's 46 here in PFF. PFF's terrible. Don't listen to them. He's going to be good. He's going to be really good. He's probably going to be a first-round player. Could they go McCoy here? Sure, why not? But if you miss a whole season of football, then all of a sudden you want to be a first-round pick when Dallas famously have had problems with defensive backs staying healthy. I just don't see it. When everything's said and done, I think Rodgers is either going to Minnesota or Pittsburgh, and I'm leaning towards Pittsburgh. So I don't have Simpson going to Pittsburgh here. I think what you have to do, I think you're going to lose the Broderick Jones. I didn't forget. By the way, Broderick Jones, I didn't forget the name. They're going to lose him in free agency. Caleb Lomu is going to be the pick here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Los Angeles Chargers here. are going to take Chase Bisonis. This is a big guy. They want to be a run first team. They're not signing Zion Williamson for their 5th-year extension. This is a guy that they really thought was going to be a Pro Bowl caliber guard. Been very disappointing. I would like to see him go somewhere else. I really liked him coming out of Boston College 4 years ago. They're going to move on. I'm probably butchering this, Bisonis or Bisantis. This guy's going to be really good. He's going to be a day one starter. Could be a potential Pro Bowler here for the Chargers. Trey, if you're still there, I'm going to give you a hint here. What school does Philly like drafting players from? Zion Johnson? I said it. Did I say something different? So which school does Philly like drafting players from? Which player has a first-round grade? And the one thing about Philly is they usually don't draft for this year. They usually draft for the future. So Monroe Freeling. Did I say Zion? God damn it. Oh, all right. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this. I did say Zion Williamson. Yeah, it is Zion Johnson. You're right. I'm bad with names. Corey, this is why you always call her baby. Always call her baby. All right. So Philly, this is a no-brainer for me. You got a guy from Georgia who's got a first-round grade. Unfortunately, Lane Johnson's not getting any younger. So you go ahead and you draft his replacement here at 23. That's kind of a no-brainer here. Now, with Cleveland, some of these picks are what I think the team will do. This is going to be what I want them to do, because if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I double dip here and I go Denzel Boston. And you're going to say, Dan, wait a minute. You have the Browns using both picks on receivers. I think they're going to fix their offensive line before the draft, Corey. That's why I know it's crazy. They do something good here. But yes, I think that they're going to fix their offensive line, because keep in mind, they have some free agents that I think they're going to actually re-sign. And I think that what they're going to do is double, you know what? Let me rephrase this. This is what I want Cleveland to do, is to say, look, we gave up all this draft picks. We gave up all this money. We had to deal with all this controversy. And what we're going to do is we're going to give whoever's playing quarterback, and I think it's going to be Deshaun Watson. We're going to give Deshaun Watson weapons. You're going to get Denzel Boston, the power forward type receiver, and then you're going to get the smaller, crafty, angry receiver. And by the way, if I'm Cleveland, I'm telling Denzel Boston, I'm going to say, listen, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're better than Mekhi Lemon. And then I'm telling Lemon, hey, you're better than this guy. and by the way, when after the season's over, because I think these two play so well that they don't even try to sign Jerry Jeudy, who could be asking for 25 to 30 million if he has a good season. But keep in mind, if these two have good seasons, he's going to be the odd man out. Plus, you may be able to trade Jerry Jeudy mid-season, because a team's going to lose a receiver. Unfortunately, players get injured. So, yeah. In all fairness, Cleveland did have some injuries on the offensive line, but I really think that they're going to fix it. But I'm going to say this. This is what I want Cleveland to do. If I'm Cleveland, I say, look, let's just get some receivers, because the guys they had last year are bad. Their number one receiver is going to be a free agent next year. Get some guys get your skill position players locked down. Fix your offensive line during free agency. Your defense is good. Go from there. Again, Denzel Boston, after taking Mekhi Lemon, is what I want Cleveland to do. Do they need an offensive line? Yeah, they do. Let me ask you this, though. In this mock draft, Who do they take? Keep in mind, this is PFF, so they're not, the brightest. But offensive line, do you take Pregnon? By the way, some of these guys, Rutledge is not bad. Or do you go, is there a tackle that you would take here at 24? Smith. By the way, I like Blake Miller a lot more. I like Tiernan a lot more. I like Dunker a lot more. Markel Bell, 6'9", 340. Cleveland's Miles Garrett real well. No, actually, the rest of the defense is actually pretty good. But I mean, Pregnon would be the pick. You like Pregnon? You like Pregnon? That actually would not be bad. I can't argue with that. But again, that's kind of what I would do. I really don't think they're going to do that. Chicago, we're here at let's go back to the full draft right here. Let's take a look at the last couple picks. Again with Pittsburgh, I want to point. Okay, again with Colton Hood. I really believe Deion Sanders likes this kid. Him and Jerry Jones are going to talk. I didn't get the name wrong. I just mispronounced it. And I think they're going to talk. Colton Hood's going to have a good combine. He's going to run well. He's going to be big. I think he goes in the first round. Caleb Lomu, keep in mind, I firmly believe that the Steelers are going to go full press and try to get Rodgers to come back. Basantis and Freeland, and then again, Boston. This is what I want them to do. This, to me, with the Bears, kind of a no-brainer. They need a defensive lineman. Peter Woods looked like he was going to be a top 10 pick at the beginning of the season. Very talented, just didn't have a good year. Keep in mind, Clemson tried playing him at defensive end. So even though he's 6'3", 315, that's another thing. Doesn't have a lot of length. But getting them here at 25 is an absolute steal. Buffalo Bills are going to say publicly that they liked T.J. Parker better. Privately, they really wanted that defensive tackle to fall. Here is my craziest pick of the whole draft. So if you're a 49ers fan, I would love to hear from you. But I want to point out before I make this pick, if you see it's a linebacker, I want to point out that when John Lynch won a Super Bowl, the MVP of the Super Bowl was a Hall of Fame. And yes, I forgot his name. Denver Gator would kill me. Derek Brooks. Oh, God, I can't believe I forgot that. Derek Brooks was a Defense Player of the Year. He was MVP. They had all sorts of turnovers. He was undersized. A lot of teams wanted to know if he would play safety, but now smaller, faster linebackers are in vogue in the NFL. But the one thing that stood out was how many turnovers Derek Brooks accumulated. And when he goes to the combine, I think he's going to do really well. He's one of the best stories in college football. And even though nobody has him as a first-round pick, I'm going to take him in the first round. And that's Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech. And if you're going to tell me that he's not a first-round pick, he was in Heisman voting. He didn't get the invite, but he got several votes for the Heisman Trophy. A former quarterback who had 130 some tackles, seven interceptions. Am I correct about this? Somebody might have to fact check me. 4 forced fumbles, goes down to the Senior Bowl, has an interception, has a forced fumble. Guy just is all over the field, getting tons of turnovers, tons of plays. His wife flies an Apache helicopter in the Army. He's going to go to the combine. People are going to say he's 6'1", 235. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Derek Brooks, people thought should play safety. John Lynch played with this dude. He has a gold jacket. It's not going to matter that he's 6'1", 235. He's going to go to the combine. He's going to run really, really well. He's going to interview out of this world. I really, really believe that Jacob Rodriguez is going to – I saw a mock draft where he goes to the 49ers in the second round, which is a little more probable, but I think his draft stock's going to go up, and I think the Niners are going to get some flack for this pick, and I think that him next to Fred Warner next year is just going to be awesome. That's what I think. I'm really kind of stumped here with the Houston Texans, but the player I like is Casey Conception. The reason why is that I don't know if you can count on Tank Dell coming back. Christian Kirk is a guy I like, also been a little inconsistent, but when Nico Collins went down, it just rattled. It just rattled the whole team offensively. I'm going to tell you something. Houston Texans, that was the best defense I've seen in the last 25 years. I was thinking about McCoy or Falk or somebody else, but if I'm the Houston Texans, I want another receiver for C.J. Stroud. He can also help in the return game. I really think they're going to like this kid. Jermon McCoy, that's going to be my pick for the Rams, and the reason why is reason why. Excuse me, I thought I had it here. All right. Well, the reason why you can roll the dice here. You can just roll the dice here. With the Denver Broncos, I could actually see them going Caleb Banks. I could also see Falk. But in my opinion, Kenyon Sadiq's kind of a no-brainer right here. They signed Jacksonville, New York. Played at Ole Miss. Corey, you paid again. Anyway, they signed him to play the Joker role, tight end. Didn't pan out, and so they're going to fix this. Kenyon Sadiq. I think he's going to fall in the draft. I think he's going to be a little shorter. I think his arms aren't, because you're saying he doesn't have length. He's listed at 6'3", 240, 245. He's probably going to be like 6'2", 240 something. And what is that tight end's name for Denver? God, Denver Gators going to kill me. Evan Ingram. I can't believe I forgot Evan Ingram's name. Anyway, so they forgot Evan Ingram. I forgot Evan Ingram. So they rectify that. They go ahead and draft Kenyon Sadiq. All right. Let's take a look at all of these here that I had. Yeah, so, Jacob Rodriguez, complete curveball. Nobody has this. I'm the only one. I think he has first-round talent. Casey Conception, I have a hard time believing that Houston, with that great defense, are going to draft defense in the first round. They have some youth on the offensive line. So I'm not sure they really want to go offensive line here. I do like Conception, kick return ability. Jermon McCoy, you're playing with dealer cash right here. So take talented kid. He could end up being a Pro Bowl corner. Keep in mind you get Caleb Downs earlier in this draft, so you could get potentially the best safety and corner in this draft. Wow. And Kenyon Sadiq, he takes over that Joker role from Evan Ingram, who had a bad season, was injured, but didn't really needed to play better. This is the way this draft works out. Kendrick Falk is the pick here. Sorry about that. Kendrick Falk is the pick here. And then I like Avion Terrell. Another brain freeze. The big corner out of University of Texas, San Antonio. He had a Pro Bowl season his rookie year, and then it's been off and on ever since then. As you see here, when you do a draft and then number one mock draft in the same. So I'm going to download this image. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm also going to save this. I'm going to post this later on Instagram. So that way everybody can go ahead and check this out. And keep in mind, my mock draft is designed to create conversation. So a lot of you are looking at this and you're going, hey, this is really cool. PFF has this great tool. Here's why I'm not happy with this. Improve my draft grade, full results. You can go back and do this right now. Awards. A lot of this looks really cool, right? Check this out. New mock draft. Boom. Daily limit reached. Daily limit reached. I can no longer do this. So now you know why I have that's why I don't recommend. That's why I don't recommend PFF, because they do that stupid crap. But Pro Football Sports Network, if you use their mock draft tool, I got it in the description below. You can do as many as you want. Have a lot of fun. But let's go over this again here. Let me see here. I think I can do this right. Hold on here. Okay, hold on. There we go. There we go. Can you? Hopefully, you guys can see that. Okay, blow it up a little bit. All right. Oops. All right. All right. Hopefully, you guys can see that. It's not bad. Again, hopefully, you guys can see this, but. You see through my mock draft, I got some curveballs here, specifically 6. Mekhi Lemon, it may be a little too high to take him at 6. I really like the kid. Of course, my 6 and 24 receivers, I only do this if Cleveland doesn't. I only do this if Cleveland fixes their offensive line before the draft, and I think they might. Caden Proctor at 10, that's a massive reach. I've seen some mock drafts where Caden Proctor goes all the way into the second round. I don't think he's going to get out of round 1. He's big. He's talented. He's got a ton of athleticism. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what about Evan Neal? Well, Evan Neal coming out was the 7th pick overall, and I almost think Proctor might be a better prospect just because he's not. Just because he went to Alabama, you can't really dock him for that. This is a big, talented kid. It is a curveball at 10. Keep in mind, this is what the Bengals like. They like players with upside from big schools. And that's just something that the Bengals have always done. Cade McDonald at 12 to Dallas could be a reach, but trust me, the longer the draft process goes, after the combine, McDonald's going to be like a top 20 lock, maybe top 15 lock. He's going to ace the combine. Jordan Tyson to Baltimore at 14. I really wanted to put a defensive player there, an edge rusher, but I've seen here's the deal. If you go with just pure highlight reel stuff, Jordan Tyson's best receiver in this draft. But I think the injury concerns knock him out of the top 10. I think Baltimore's just going to see way too much value. Colton Hood at 20, another guy, when the combine starts, going to be a lot better than I think he will. Right now, there's not too many people have him going in first round. A lot of people think McCoy will go before Hood. Keep in mind, because he played at Colorado, I do know that Deion Sanders does like the kid. I think that's going to say a lot. He's going to talk to a lot of NFL people. I think after the combine, Hood's going to cement himself as a first-round pick. Jacob Rodriguez is probably my biggest surprise in the draft, but I'm telling you this right now. Can't believe it. John Lynch. Listen. John Lynch, when he won a Super Bowl, MVP was Derek Brooks, and I really think that Jacob Rodriguez, with all those turnovers that he creates, is going to end up being the first linebacker off the board. Keep in mind, at the combine, I got a feeling he's going to ace the combine. C.J. Allen out of Georgia should be a first-round pick. I don't have him on the board. So this. I'm going to post this on Instagram. I'm going to litter it with social media. So you guys have it later on. Keep in mind, Corey had some great suggestions during this draft, during this live stream. I'm so glad you joined me here. You told me that these are your top 4 players. Downs, Love, Mayoga, and Bain. You're not alone in thinking that, but I want to hear from other people who your top players are in this draft. I'm in love with David Bailey. I think he's the only player in this draft that's going to be a day 1 double-digit sack guy. Bain, of course, I've been mocking to Kansas City. I did 7th round. Chiefs mock draft, and I've been having Bain go to Kansas City at 9. I think the short arms are going to hurt him. That's the reason why I don't think he goes either to Arizona or Tennessee, even though I've seen a lot of mock drafts where he does go to Tennessee. Yeah, I've heard that, and I'm going to level with you. That does bother me a little bit, but I'll tell you this: if he's available when the Chiefs pick at 9, I would love it. I would love it. I would love David Bailey. A lot of times people think that you can fix players like this. Technically on the field, though, as both his incidents are in game right after game. Yeah, I also heard of an off-field incident as well. So, I mean, there are some questions. And don't forget, who was the player from Baltimore last year? They got in the second round. That's why I give the Ravens such a good grade. Another name I forgot. This was the guy everybody was convinced was going to be in the first round. I got to look this up because I'm just drawing a complete blank. Actually, he didn't do that much this year. Who was the kid's name in last year's draft? Mike Green. Remember Mike Green had those issues? Yeah, thanks, Corey. I completely forgot his name. He didn't do much, actually. Let me look up. What did he do this year? 3.5 sacks, 41 tackles. Yeah, I actually forgot about James Pierce. I forgot about James Pierce was a guy I was falling in love with during the draft process last year. I thought Atlanta did a good job. The thing is with James Pierce is that James Pierce had, I think, 11.5 sacks this year. On the field, James Pierce was a beast. But there was some questions about him going into the draft process. And Mike Green, listen, when you're accused in high school and in college of sexual assault, that's a bad thing. I'm not even allowed to say that on YouTube. The essay, let's just call it essay. But yeah, Pierce is going to jail. Yeah. And that's a shame because he had 11.5 sacks. I actually thought Pierce was going to be a stud in the pros. Really did. It's a shame. And when I say it's a shame, it's because you're handed the genetics lottery. All right. You're handed the genetics lottery, and all you got to do is just be a normal person, and your grandkids are set for life. I mean, it's multi-generational wealth. When you have 11.5 sacks year one, and I think that number is correct. Let me fact check myself here. Am I just making up numbers, or did he have 11.5 sacks last year? Oh yeah, you're not lying, man. You're not lying. I'm gonna double check my math here. The only thing that kind of surprises me, and I'm not sure why, is you're right, it is 10.5. Is that I'm a little surprised Atlanta hasn't released him already. I'm a little surprised Atlanta hasn't released him already. So, but yeah, he had 10.5. Look, you have double-digit sacks year one. And by the way, I think David Bailey could be better than that, especially if he goes to Tennessee. But that is my very first mock draft. I'm going to post this on social media. I'm also going to put some comments in. The Jacob Rodriguez is probably the biggest surprise of the draft. Maybe Caden Proctor at 10. Trying to think what else. Colton Hood going before McCoy is another thing. But again, I think that they're really going to impress people. If you're into doing mock drafts, go to the description below. Check out Pro Football Sports Network. Again, it's free. Unlike PFF, you can do it as many times as you want. You can do it with trades. You also, the free version, you can do trades. The only reason I'm not showing it to you now is because there are pop-ups, and even if you knock them out, they come back up. I mean, it's free. What do you expect? Like, in case you haven't noticed, right here is powered by StreamYard. I'm using the free one because I got a good deal, and once you get signed up, one cool thing about StreamYard is that once you get signed up, they lock in that price. So when I canceled the service, I was paying $200 yearly. Now it's $450. And if I just want to do 1 month, it's like 60 or 70 bucks. So during the draft, I'll use a free version. That way I can add guests on, because I actually, with the free version, I'm not even sure I can add a guest on. It's very limited, but by the way, StreamYard, it's a free tool. If you like the PFF tool, you can only use it once a day. Dumbest thing ever. After you use it that once in a 24-hour period, you're done. You have to pay for it. Pro Football Sports Network has a really great free mock draft tool. I literally used it hundreds of times. There's another one. I have an app downloaded. I shared it with Gooch, who's hopefully will be on when I go live for the draft, and a few other people. So that is my first round mock draft. Before I go, question, comments, concerns. If you have PFF Plus, you can use it forever. You do have to sign up for it. All the tools that I'm showing you with Pro Football Sports Network is free. StreamYard, where is it at? Right here. Also free. I just look. I like promoting free stuff, but yeah, if you want to pay, PFF Plus is actually pretty cool. I have to go. I'm going to make a video of why I hate PFF so much. I have a hatred towards PFF. I'm very mad at them, and it's a flaw as a person. I hold grudges, and they did me wrong, and I hold a grudge. But Pro Football Sports Network has this phenomenal first-round mock draft. If you don't want to spend any money, you can use it. You can do as many as you want. You can do trades. They have a big board. It's really cool. I'm kind of tickled pink, because when I went ahead and emailed them, they emailed me back. There's a good chance next week. What I might do is I might change the format up next week and do like a slideshow. I think StreamYard will let me do a slideshow besides sharing my screen. One thing I can't do with the free tool is have another camera, which I had to. I had to do it. So it won't let me do a camera, but I can share my screen, and I had to do that because that's all in the free tool. So, but yeah, if you have PFF Plus, you can use it forever. You can do as many mock drafts as you want, but I like promoting free stuff because free is always good. That's just my opinion. But like I said, questions, comments, concerns, the floor is yours. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. Please, hey, listen, you can go back, check out the comments. You can also comment in any one of my videos. I will definitely respond to it, barring YouTube glitches. Sometimes every now and then YouTube does something stupid where I can't see it. But if there's no other comments or questions, I'm going to get off of here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your comments, just watching the video means the absolute world to me. I will be back next week for Mock Draft Wednesday. I hope to see y'all back then. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.